Hello and welcome to When Pigs Fly. I am Patty and I'm joined by Tracy and Renee. Good morning, ladies.
Good
Good morning.
morning.
So, today we have decided collectively to share spiritual awakening stories. All of us have had different experiences, and you will have different experiences. And we're sharing these stories with you so that you just take the little pieces that resonate with you and throw the rest away. And, we're sharing this, with the hope of giving you some kind of a reference point and go, oh, okay, that's where I'm at on the map, and to know that you didn't lose your mind and you can't get it wrong and it's all perfect. And when it happens for you is happening in perfect timing for you. That's very important. We talked about this in the last episode. Don't get into comparison. And you will hear today that our stories were very, very different. And I can jump in and share like what got me in down the mindset trail was where I started was when I was changing careers from years in the music business, and it came to an abrupt halt. And that was like pick your head up, and I was like, all right, let me find something I'm interested in. And very early on in my real estate career, I had hired a coach, uh, teaching real estate, mind you, but he said to me, the biggest piece of real estate you'll ever flip is the one in your head. And I was like, what the hell does he mean? And he was asking me, what do you want? And every time I answered, he said, you're small. And I'm thinking, fuck you, I'm paying you and you're telling me I'm small. But like the New Yorker came out, was like, who does this guy think he is? And then, you know what? That was enough of a crack that all of a sudden I was like, okay, there's more. So I started taking some courses, and I did what we just cautioned you about. I was like, I'd get through the whole course and I was studying with other people, and I'm looking and I'm like, nothing shifted. Nothing shifted. Let me take another course. Let me go a different route. Let me try this one. Okay. How come no one's changing? And I became obsessed with why why aren't they having a shift? Why am I not having a shift? And that literally is what led to my initial coaching business. Was I was like, I want to get after the why of the people who've done all these things. They know there's more. I knew there was more. And I was like, okay, how do I find it? How do I find my next breadcrumb? And that was when it's that honest look of, okay, well, what's going on with me? And what am I feeling? And I knew just when you really slow it down and start to ask yourself those questions, it was like, okay, so I know there's something, we know our thoughts create things. And then I was like, then I dove down the emotions. All right, what about the emotions? And okay. And then following the guidance and going, okay, today I'm going to care about my emotions. I need to find out. And without going in the rabbit hole, and Renee, this is what like you are so fabulous at this, and really quickly get your head out of your ass. Clear it, clear it, clear it, clear it. And she, getting guidance that helps you clear something quickly that you can feel a shift, that's when you know you're on the right, that's when you know you're barking up the right tree, right? And so just for me it was then gaining ground, and initially I just, and you guys know this, when I get on something new I want to consume it like out of a fire hose. That's my nature, and I want it quick and I want it fast. And then you get to a point where you go, okay, wait, this is a journey, so I can slow down, but my curiosity never stopped. And what happens is your personal path gets defined in that process, and it gets defined and then it blows wide open to I don't know anything. But I'm okay with that because I know that I'm where I'm supposed to be. And so for me, that's kind of that's a Reader's Digest version, but I would love to hear from you too about your personal experiences too.
Tracy, go ahead.
So
I'm gonna approach kind of what my experience is, and it kind of came to the same conclusion of not only, you just say it bluntly, I don't know anything and neither does anybody else. Because in nothing is everything, right? And the nothingness, and we can discover everything. So for me, it happened when my husband and I we had businesses and I had children and I had two very close together. So I had two kids, a 6-month-old, a 1-year-old. We were renovating a restaurant and operating the restaurant at the same time. We had another restaurant we owned as well. We had some other things. Anyway, I'm saying that because it was a lot of stress and a lot of pressure in my life. And then obviously 2 kids in the mix, I started to get headaches. I started to have anxiety. I was sick to my stomach. So what do? You go to a doctor. And fortunately, my blood work, everything was clean. So I went to a naturopath and then went down the rabbit hole of functional medicine and holistic health. And I say rabbit hole because at one point, I think I was swallowing, I don't know, 30 to 50 supplement vitamins a day. And I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying a pill is a pill is a pill, and everything can be excessive. And on top of that, I was doing that. I've always been a huge meditator in yoga. I mean, had already been doing that. I've always worked out. So I was doing, if you say everything that needs to be done in the name of wellness, when I tell you I was the poster child of wellness, and I still felt like shit most of the time. So I had to reel back and take a hard look of, okay, this isn't working, or I would feel fantabulous, and I don't. And then, oh my gosh, I went on the juicing for a year and I swear it tore up my stomach worse than it made me feel vibrant and healthy. And again, I'm going to say again, I'm not discounting any of this because I believe all of these are great things potentially. But the lesson for me was it's an inside job, that it is no, what do I need? Don't listen to what ABC, all these experts, and I say experts across the board, whether they're an expert in medicine or holistic health or meditation or whatever you're an expert in, the only expert is ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We are the only expert for ourselves. We have to be the expert. We can get information, but that was and I'm still on that journey of what is best for me. And then, we throw in okay, now we have other energies coming in because now there's a lot of upgrades, but I won't divert because that is in play right now. But we really, now sometimes respectfully, because I say you do you and you do you meticulously, but I'm going to do me and I'm going to do me day by day. And if I get it wrong, hey, I got it wrong. So that's great. That's my learning. But sometimes if I hear someone, well, just drink it, drink a green juice and, take a salt bath. There's a little part of me that wants to be like, shut up with your, and it's interesting because it's kind of what we are doing for you guys. We'll try this, because the information is very valuable if you are hearing it as an option, because there are so many amazing options. I mean, I love healthy, vibrant food. I love to meditate. I love yoga. I love the water, and they feed me. They nourish my soul. So my point is, you have to determine how to nourish your soul and listen to amazing people that you resonate with, because they have great information. But at the end of the day, you determine your truth. And I think that, it's exciting as it is terrifying because, right, you're in charge of you, you're responsible for you. And we want that. We want that, right? I want to be the creator of me. Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah. And, I just want to express, a lot of people go down with the medical doctors and they, see therapists for years, or, some people get so into exercise and training at the depletion of their life force energy in the name of getting energy. It's the cosmic joke. wait, but I'm doing all this to be vibrant and healthy, and they're really depleting the hell out of themselves,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And giving away their power.
Yeah.
Saying this, if you say this is the only way I can be healthy, you're absolutely giving away all of your power. Our wellness is assured. Our wellness is assured. And then we listen to our body to say, what does it need now? And that's like such a huge piece, Tracy. Thank you for sharing that. Did I cut you off?
No,
Okay.
and you know me, if I stop talking, I lost the thought. So I don't know. Next subject. What was I saying? Don't know.
Nothing goes to waste. I love that. She's
And
Renee.
I think I want to sort of reiterate to everybody that life is nothing but a series of synchronistic events. Okay, for me, and that's what I look at, and that's healers have said, and when I listen to people, because a lot of people will say, well, how I don't know what to do, or how I'm going to do this, and how did you get into that field? And I have to be honest with you, everybody don't know how this actually started to come about, because I've always been into the positive thoughts. I always listened to the Wayne Dyers, the Zig Ziglars, all those things like on tape. Those are the cassette tapes. If some of you might not even know what that is, the cassette tapes, and I was listening to that. And then something must have started to shift within me, because all of a sudden I was very aware of all, I mean, I was always aware of when I had lived with my stepmother when I was very young, it was just a lot of abuse. And, you know, just sexual abuse, like all sorts of stuff. Okay. So it was that point then of something clicked inside, and I started to write, the sexual abuse I'd always shut off. I didn't really know it was there, to be honest with you. But when I was listening to all those things, something must have clicked, because then all of a sudden I had the visions and the feelings in my body. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Like, this is crazy. Like, what? So when I started, and then I started to remember a lot of the stuff. And now I see it, I would remember it there. And I went into, I was like, okay, I got to see a counselor, because something I can't do, I don't know what to do with these. And the counselors were all like, okay, well, let's go into this. Like, tell me the story. What was the feeling? I was like, yeah, no. Like, no. The little things that I'm remembering now, I wish I didn't remember. And I don't want to do that. And they said, well, in order for you to do that, you have to go into that. You have to do that. And so then I was like, okay, there's got to be a different way. Because even though I was going for a little bit, it just was not, no, not resonating with me. So I found a spiritual teacher. I was like, oh, let's see this whole thing. And even she was saying, well, let's get into it. You got to get into it. And I was like, oh my God, like, no, I don't want to do this. But that even led me into just random classes all over the place of spirituality. And then, I would be writing things down. And in some of the classes that I took, now everything was always very educational. But some classes, that I took, I'm like a huge note taker. Okay. So late at night, I was writing down some notes, and I think I've said this story before, that I was writing some notes, and also I was very aware that I was not writing my words. I'm like, I would not say this word, but I'm going to keep writing. I kept writing. And because my whole thing was, when I was thinking, I was like, there's got to be another way to heal all this stuff. I don't want this in me, because I was very aware that somehow something's going to happen to my body. And when I wrote it at the very end, first of all, he was saying things, and at the very end said, "I am forever yours, Archangel Michael." And I was like, "Holy shit, this is crazy cool." So I went back and I was reading it, and in there, he literally said, "Everything that you've gone through, you are holding into your body, and it will not release because you are not willing to release it. Have your thought be that you are releasing it, and you will let it be free." And I was like, "That can't be that easy." I'm like, what the hell? So I was like, okay, like, all right. And, like, and I thought I had to be specific. So I was like, okay, this thing that I remember about this person, like, and, sexual abuse of this person, then I'm going to let this go. And it was crazy. The feel that went through my body. Like, first it was creepy, but then it was like, oh my God, this is actually leaving. Like, it was leaving. It was like really crazy. And I was like, oh my God, what else can we do? Like, this is easy. Like, is everything easy? And then I would have this thought, like, yes. So they go, cool. So doing that is what really sort of got me into. And then my whole thought was always, okay, how can we make this easier? How can we make this better? Like, I'm the
Yeah.
queen of simplicity. That
It's
was like, what's
mastery.
wrong with
It's
yeah.
mastery. You
It,
get so good at it. And right, you were like, more, more, more. And how can I do this quicker and easier?
Yeah, and that was the whole thing, and anything I then ever did from there, I was like, "Okay, how can I make this easier? How can I" and even classes we would take, like, people would come afterward, not that I would talk to them that much, like, they already know me, and because I was very shy, believe it or not, and they were kind of they're like, "What was she saying in that class?" Because they knew that I had the simplistic way of saying it, somehow they knew that. And then all of a sudden, it just sort of grew, and I was, helping people just through things like friends and all this stuff. Like, oh, you gotta think positive, and you gotta do this, and hey, try this, and then and they said that didn't work. Well, let's try this. Like, let's see what works. And then all of a sudden, people started to call me for sessions and things, which I was like, I don't even know what the hell I would do, but it just went forward because my whole thought was, like, whatever they need, like, let it come through, but I could resonate because like attracts like. So people were coming to me that had gone down those paths they didn't know, and I could totally get it because I was like, I've been there, I got it. Here's what worked for me. Try this. And then if they say, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I got it, and I'd like try it now. Like, let's see. And they would try it, and then I'd be like, okay, well, let's try this. Like, it was always like this whole thing of like, how can we make this easier? You don't want it. And what was really interesting was I realized that when we have this stuff within our bodies, that we don't have to hold on to, like, body stored it as this thing of like, look, we're going to keep you safe. We are going to store it here. What was wild to me was when it came to me that I was with somebody, and that we can release it from exactly where it is. It
Yeah,
does
the whole
not need to
file.
come through the physical form. Yes.
The whole file, and you don't need to read it. And I felt the same way, Renee. It's interesting that we both had similar journeys in surviving child abuse, it and when we say, oh, how did this happen for me? Well, it it always ends up revealing your one of your gifts, because you were like, okay, why did I choose this? Now we know, okay, why did I choose that experience? Well, and know what it is. And it's the mastery of your gift. And I find a lot of people that I speak to in this realm too, they'll say, oh my gosh, my my best gifts were so obvious. It was like right in front of my nose, and I missed it. And it's like now, like what you were talking about, it's like I've done the same thing in my practice where it's okay, wait, I see someone struggling with something, and it's like, okay, wait, I had to do this, this, and this. How can I make that, even faster? And like, I mean, now we also know now the energy supporting it. When we were doing this work, was we were swimming upstream for a bit because we had to choose. Like I cocooned myself. I absolutely cocooned myself and said, I am not picking my head up until I feel better, until I understand this more, and until and I'll know if I can help somebody, then I'm going to know, because I see all these people paying thousands and thousands of dollars and hours of things and jumping up and down in their living room, and they feel like shit at the end. And if I'm going to guide someone or coach them, I want them after one darn session to say, know what? Wow, I got an awareness. I feel better. And we know many of you listening want to feel better, and just, keep that curiosity up and know that you master it. You really do. And that is how you end up, that's how we pull each other up. That's how we help each other. And it's like, oh wow, I went through that, and you can carry it forward. And then it really is, it's recognizing the growth. And like Tracy said, you do get, it's when you can just say, I know nothing. That is when you say the words, I know nothing, in this moment, that's your clean slate, and you're saying to the universe, I am wide open to complete infinite intelligence. And here's my desires. What can you show me? That is what you're awakening to. That is that's what you're awakening to. You're awakening to that infinite. And you'll feel times where oh, I feel like I'm really mastering it. And this is my thing. And I'm people close to me know I jump from, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing that anymore. And I would just, oh, I shed that jacket. I wore that jacket for 6 months and I shed it. And I know there's people to this day that say, I don't know what she does because I don't stop. I'm like, okay, this grew. I got a new awareness how I can help people in this area. Boom. Right. And it's all related, but it's part of, the mastery that we choose and just and embracing it and knowing that when you have gotten to this awakening and this awareness, gosh, it's leading to your best and highest good always, right? And get out of the biggest thing that I learned was, and this was hard for me because I was a planner, very detail oriented, and I can execute like nobody's business, right? And then multitasking, and that worked against me. I had to let go of the multitasking. It was a curse because I wasn't focusing on one thing. And then feeling that society told you no pain, no gain, and all that shit. And I had to let go of all of that shit and then just go, know what's right for me, what's resonating for me. And then being curious and saying, okay, this is when we bring that down. This is when the intelligence comes in, the wisdom comes in, and you, right? And embrace it and embrace it and allow yourself that opportunity to step into it.
I'm gonna say, expand on now this, I was speaking my story obviously almost 20 years ago. And two things here. When I say we know nothing, we are entering into an energy field that we know nothing because everything is changing. And anytime I love information and I'm curious about, oh, well, how does, red light therapy work? And anytime I listen to something, I question it. I'm like, maybe. I think that's what was yesterday. So our bodies are changing so quickly at a cellular level. We are processing food different. The sun is a different form of energy for us. And it's changing and changing and changing. So everything that we do know and learn is subject to change, literally maybe tomorrow. So it's going to be very curious and interesting going forward because there is a lot of beneficial modalities. And I love energy healing and I love energy medicines. And I feel that sound and light and anything of vibrational frequencies are going to play a much greater role as opposed to human one-on-one. And it's probably going to be a collaboration of the human influence and touch in collaboration with sound, light, the earth, plants, nature. I really think that's going to be the future of wellness and healing and medicine. So it is going to be very, and I went and I was in a neo-shamanic school for a year. I learned how to do energetic surgery. It was amazing, had people on the table and I saw all kinds of crazy stuff. Literally was doing energetic surgery and they can feel it. I'd have people on the table go, what in the world did you just do? And it's phenomenal to be able to do it and to be able to have the person receive it. But I will tell you, as amazing it was, in my head, I kept thinking, this is really the long, hard way.
Yeah.
Because the premise of the neo-shamanic school, which is great, and I love the teacher and I love everything he did, he dug into the defense mechanisms. He dug into the old story. He wanted us to go into the body and find where that trauma was. And I would do these treatments and I kept going, it's got to be simpler and faster. And then I'm like, who the hell are you? You don't even know. You're a damn student. You don't, and I'm like, don't tell me I don't know what I'm doing, So I'm sharing all this because it's all awesome. I learned a lot, but really in the middle of it, I was like, And then one other share, my daughter had something, and this was years ago going on, and I got the message of, we'll just bring to the forefront her crystalline structure. What? Like, this is when you start
Yeah.
getting messages and you're like,
Yeah. What's that? Like Renee, Renee was writing on behalf of Archangel Michael. It's
Exactly.
like,
And
hey, what
I
else you got to say, bro?
Right. And I just, okay, well, how do I do that? And what does that look like? And I wrote about it, and that's it. Like I started to embrace the template of wholeness of the divine blueprint. So when I look at people, I go straight to that. What is wholeness? What is their divine blueprint? That's what, and Renee's worked with me on some people, my loved ones in my life. So that's where I go straight to. It's kind of like my mind won't even let me, or if it does, I pull myself out. And I will say, not to toot our own horns, but when you can get in collaboration with people that are in that energy of we go straight to the wholeness, we go straight to purity, straight to divinity, straight to truth, that's some miracles happening.
Yeah, absolutely. So well said.
I love that. Yeah, so true. And recognizing that all of these synchronistic events, like, people will say that, oh, I wouldn't have created that, and or why would you have created it as a childhood? And I always say, because I created it as my childhood, like, because I would never be doing this if I didn't. I would have stayed working for that attorney forever, and all this stuff, like, because I loved it. And like, otherwise, that is the thing. And now it's this point of like recognizing this, hey, everything that I've gone through can help somebody else. And that was my whole thing. Like, oh my God, like, oh, I could help you with that. Like, that'd be cool. Like, and it's that whole aspect. But recognizing the synchronistic events leads you into exactly what you need to do. So the minute you're thinking, I don't know what I'm here to do, I don't know what my life's purpose is. Well, all of the events of your whole life has been your purpose. Every single thing is leading you into that. You're looking for something with blinders on instead of saying, okay, wait a minute, what's the next step? What am I doing? The minute you say that, all of a sudden it starts to happen. Because, Patty, started to do that, and look at, what transpired. She all of a sudden is doing this. I did my stuff, and all of a sudden led into here. I mean, there's a lot of other stories that brought to that point, but still, it's like when you stop and you look at that stuff, and you actually can take ownership, you're no longer a victim. And I never looked at myself as a victim. Like when I started to recognize and realize that, I never thought even going into the victim mode. I didn't even tell half of my family. I never told my mother because I had come to live with my mother. I never told her, never told my stepfather, because it really wasn't like that's not who what I am. But I was like, okay, how do I heal this? But I knew in the back of my mind somehow this was going to be able to help other people. And my whole thing is always, let's bring something easier, because how are we going to heal the world? How are we going to do it? So keep yourself open and just say, like exactly what Trace does. What the possibilities are just endless. Like, okay, what can I do?
Yeah.
What can I do? Like, let's bring it on. I'm ready. I'm open. Let's go.
Yeah. And she's absolutely correct. And the energies that we're being infused with have never been available in a human body before. Never. So but it's all, we need to stress this. It's light. It's light, it's light, it's light. And, take advantage of that. And we're becoming more of a light body. And that is why, as you raise your own frequency, you basically are just having access to more and more light energy coming in. And none of us has any idea what that is going to mean for us, but you can choose to fight against it and resist it, or you embrace it and ride the wave and have fun and be okay to um let things go. Then let things go. And okay, I rode this one. And then, okay, what do I want to create now? And that is, we were here to experience, to have experiences. And that's like, I love how Renee put that, it's a bunch of little synchronicities and experiences that lead to the next and the next. And and have the patience to allow it to unfold. This the stop and smell the roses. Yeah. And be in your journey. Be in your journey. There's a reason you're experiencing, there's gifts in your journey. But if you're all of a sudden, oh, that's where I'm going, and I'm just, you're missing it. And that's why we always say, like, slow it down. It's completely opposite of what we become used to, right? Everything's now. And just saying, okay, I'm on my path, I'm enjoying it. And then now let's watch it gracefully unfold, and you get to pick and choose. Now, do you have the ability to amp it up? And yeah, but then you're forcing. So we do have free will. So I always caution,
Mm.
like, what are you doing with your free will? Are you right? How are you using it? So any closing statements? This one kind of flew by, and thank you for sharing your stories.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Trace. Something?
No, that was it. I was just gonna kind of add, I know it drives people crazy, but a lot of times my common response is, I don't know, maybe. Like, well, what are you gonna do? Well, how are you? Well, what? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. Or hey, are you free? I don't know, maybe. Because it's so open-ended. I find myself, I'm not gonna make any decisions because if you're gonna stay in the now, and that's people perceive that as being uncertain
I
or
know.
something of that. And I'm like,
Mm.
no, it's wide open. There's no uncertainty there. It's all possibilities. So just to add that to what you just said,
I
Patty.
love that, Tracy. And anybody who knows me and hears this will be laughing because that's me. I just go, I don't know yet. If I'm feeling it, I'll let you know because
Mm.
I absolutely, and it's not that you're non-committal. It's no, I'm literally going to only do what I want to do when I want to do it. And so you floated something out. I'm interested in it. And it's, yeah, let's see if it, let's see if it's, if that's in my best and highest good on that day, then we'll be doing it. And then if not, I still love you, but we're not doing that. Right? Renee, any closing
Perfect. Well,
nuggets?
just stay in the now and enjoy life. When you're enjoying it, you're having fun, because that's what this is about. When you're having fun, you're in that natural flow.
Yeah.
So follow the next obvious step. Like it's there. Stop telling yourself it's not.
Love that. Love that. Well, thank you again, and keep hitting those like and subscribe buttons. Keep your comments coming. We're here for you guys, and your questions help others in our community. So thank you again. And ladies, I will see you next episode.